Hello and welcome to the pre-race press conference for the 2023 Cape Town E-Prix. Joining us on stage we have team principals representatives James Barclay from Jaguar TCS Racing, James Rossiter from Maserati MSG and Alex Wee from Neo 333 Racing. James, starting with you, welcome to Cape Town. Obviously a great one for you as a home race personally. How much have you been looking forward to this race and what are your initial impressions of the track location?
Yeah, well, firstly, morning everyone. It's great to afternoon. It's great to be here. It's a real honour having grown up in this part of the world in South Africa. The last race was 1993, last World Championship race, which is in a motorsport country that really loves its racing. It's definitely been a missing addition. So I think for everyone here, we see, I hear from friends and family, there's a huge amount of excitement for the race. So that's really, really positive. People flying in from all areas of the country. So what better backdrop, right? We're in probably one of the best amphitheatres in the world. One of the 7 natural wonders of the world behind us. So I think it's going to be a fantastic race for me. Track is completely unlike anything else we've raced since formally started. A really fast layout. There's definitely going to be a big test of commitment and getting the car set up in the right way to be able to maximise. So the drivers for sure, they're going to be travelling quickly, but it's going to create, I think, something we haven't seen in terms of really high speed layout performance.
So we're going to go back to India just briefly. A very dramatic race, not obviously a great memory for the Jag team, I'm sure, but how have you managed to refocus the team and the aspirations for everyone in this race, putting that behind them and maximising the opportunity here in Cape Town?
Yeah, my reflection immediately afterwards was actually just proud of the team, that we've turned and continually moved our performance on to the point where in India we were already competitive package, pole position. So that's the first key takeaway that I had as a team. Inevitably, mistakes can happen, and it was just a mistake, so there's literally no point in overanalyzing it. And as a team, we're just looking forward. Sure, it's frustrating when you don't score points, when you have the potential to do it in a big way, which we were in a position to do, but there's absolutely 0 point overanalyzing that situation. It's a mistake that actually many drivers through the field made. They just were fortunate it wasn't quite that end result. So I think it could have happened across the field, especially how dirty it was offline, with how long that close period was on the approach to the head. And so, yeah, that's it. We just look forward now, and we continue hopefully to build on our performance and put ourselves in a position to be able to fight the front here in Cape Town.
Just to touch a bit further on, you talked about the development of the team since the start of the season. We're now nearly a third of the way through the season, and it's been a very positive curve from Jaguar TCS since Mexico. What's your assessment been of how the team have been able to develop the car and extract more performance, and how much more performance can be extracted?
Yeah, we felt since the start we had a competitive car, but it's about getting everything kind of working in the best way possible in Gen 3. I think everyone is in exactly the same position. We're all really at the very, very early stage of this car getting on top of it. So from that point of view, it's fair to say I think we've got more to come. We just need to keep as we are doing, working hard in trying to extract that performance and the understanding of the car and what works best. So as a team, that's something I think we always are really hungry to do. We've proven in the past that when we get our heads down and we push forward, we really can make progress. So that's going to continue to be our process and our approach. And no one is going to stand still. So I always say in this championship, complacency is your biggest enemy, and we won't be complacent because we know that any one of the 2 men next to me in their teams and everyone else in this pit lane is absolutely capable of moving forward. So we just keep doing our homework, don't take anything for granted, and come and hopefully execute a great weekend here. For us, even if that's points, it's really important.
Okay, just moving on to you now, James Rossiter. At the start of the season in testing, the team was showing some serious promise and a lot of pace as well. And whilst there's been some unfortunate events and issues in the races up to now, do you think the teething the stages of the development of this car have been longer than expected, or is it just a case of the drivers getting used to the car?
I think in Mexico we got a bit of a shock. Obviously we were very, very fast in the pre-season test in Valencia. We were not fast in Mexico at all. We then had a very difficult weekend in Saudi Arabia where both cars were crashed in the first qualifying group. That then put us on the back foot for that event. We did show a good step forwards, but it was difficult to convert the result today. And then the performance in Hyderabad was there. We had both cars in the duels. Edo unfortunately got caught with the track limits, otherwise he would have been starting in the top 4. And then the performance in the race, Edo, a small mistake with a very high price at save on lap 3 of the race, knocking his front wing off. But Max showed great pace. He was there with the Jaguars. He had a good energy advantage, I would say, over some of the other guys in front of him. And getting caught out in that incident meant that he didn't get to finish on the podium, which is generally where our pace was kind of about in Hyderabad. So there's been these steps forwards, but unfortunately they haven't been shown in pure results.
So they're more circumstantial, you'd say, and there's more to come.
Well, we're making steps in the right direction. We just haven't shown you all yet exactly where we are. But I'm confident going into this weekend. We've made some significant steps forwards. We have a lot more understanding of this Gen 3 car, of our package, and I think we're quite well placed now to score some good points this weekend.
On the subject of confidence and optimism, and just talking about the powertrain and those that are using it in the grid, putting together some good performances, getting some good results, does that give you kind of optimism and confidence that given the right conditions, the car can compete up there at the very top?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we knew it from Valencia. It's just about getting the package in the right window, getting the tyres in the right window, and then delivering a whole race weekend. I mean, let's also be honest. Formula E is incredibly difficult. It's one of the most difficult motor racing events. You've got one day to deliver everything, and if one thing doesn't fall into place, it's very difficult to convert that. Jeff is a great example of that. Last weekend, he got reasonably lucky. He would have been knocked out of the duel by Sam and starting sort of P8, and instead he ended up starting P2 and won the race. So, you need a little bit of luck as well in Formula E, but to convert a whole race weekend is a big challenge for all of us.
This circuit is touted, what we've seen so far by simulator and on paper, to be one of the fastest on the calendar this year at least. Long straights, high-speed corners, good average speed. Given certain comparisons to the likes of Valencia and Mexico, are you hopeful for a strong performance here?
I'm definitely hopeful of a strong performance. I think, firstly, for all of you in here, you're going to get some seriously exciting laps. I mean, I stood behind the simulator watching the guys drive it, and the track looks absolutely epic. A lot of high-speed corners, going to be very, very challenging. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting one this weekend.
Excellent. And now finally, Alex. Last season, it was fair to say that the Neo 53 was struggling with pace and efficiency as well. But this year, as part of the new Gen 3 era, it seems like a massive step up, a big in the right direction, and you've shown a lot of promise, especially with qualifying. How has that transition with the new technology been for the team?
I think this year is definitely a step forward in terms of team performance. As you said, we have quite strong on that pace, which we showed in the first 2 races. But for some reason, we scored in the 2 races which we didn't qualify as well. So sometimes, as everyone knows, you need a bit of luck in Formula E. Last race we scored good points in P5, but heavily benefited by incidents of cars in front. The Jag got great pace, the Maserati got great pace, but at least I think we were in a position to take it. So we were not miles off, we were always there in the pack. So I think it's a step forward. I would say still a lot of areas which is not unpolished in the team. We have now much stronger understanding for where we are good, where we are not good. So we know where our deficits, and our goal is always want to bring the team back to fighting in the front in towards the second cycle of Gen 3. 3.5 because we know that we don't have time to fix everything. We're still lacking of resource and procedure in some area, which we try to do as much as we can for this year. The package is more or less frozen between this season and next season. The big manufacturers will be able to do more development with the current package, which we will try to, but I think the rate of development of us as a smaller team that will be more limited, and we are already looking at season 11 to how to make a big step for the next package. Also, with the good result, better result recently, I would say is getting more momentum in terms of partnerships and all the other opportunities, which is fundamental of success of the motor racing. So yeah, I think it's giving good motivation for our colleagues, but we need to really keep our foot on the ground to be realistic that we have improved it, but it's not enough. Although there's some deficits in the package, but we keep trying to extract more, because you can see there's some teams across on the field, that customer team and the manufacturers team, some of them with the same package have quite big differences in terms of performance. So it's actually a lot of things that the team can do better to extract performance, which we will try to polish our team better and better for this season, next season. And once we get a stronger package and resource, we want to fly in the front.
So just touching briefly on driver pairing, we've seen some good performances from both. Most recently with Sergio with good points in India, but just talking briefly about Dan Tickton, he seems to be rejuvenated, showing some good drives and a good performance, especially one lap pace qualifying. How are you and the team working to try and maintain the consistency of pace in qualifying and turning that into the efficiency needed in the race?
Yeah, both Dan and Sergio is quite similar in age. They are quite like 23, 24, young, talented, proven really quick driver previously in F3, F2. So, but we know that I think we more or less have the best two drivers that we can get at the moment, because having not very successful Gen 2 era, we're not in a position to attract championship winning driver. We understand that. I think we probably have the two young driver that we can not only about money, but it's also about who will come with you. And so I'm quite happy with the driver lineup. We know they are both young, relatively inexperienced compared with some other driver that did a few more seasons in the championship. But I think they have great potential, to improve, and they're very good pairing. Like Dan, has a very he's a very passionate person, but sometimes also too passionate, I would say. So he was so easy to lost his head at some point. But I would say from his last season to this season, I definitely see he's maturing, he's developing himself. But Dan is always Dan. He always got that spark. But sometimes I keep telling him that you have to make good use of what you have, because inside your body, you got some characteristic which will always stay with you, but try to make good use of it in a positive way, which he's trying. And Sergio is a very different, they both drive very similar in terms of driver feedback. Luckily, they're always very similar. But Sergio is very, very hardworking, we want to go over all details, then say, okay, that's it, I will do it. But they're all pushing each other in a good way, I would say.
Interesting. Now just one final question before we open up for a few from the floor.